Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Ghostly Stories, brought to you by Half Past Dead Paranormal Radio. I am your host, Roger Belt, and my co-host is the lovely Miss Cheryl Lynn Carter, who is going to tell a personal story tonight. Everybody ready for this one? There we go. There we go.
Is it working?
Yeah, I had to go over there and pause the window in the other chat room because it was going to reverb on me.
Yeah, I heard the echo, yeah.
Are you ready?
Yeah. You ready to start reading it? Yeah.
The mic is all yours.
Okie doke. Well, it was the Christmas season. A continuous barrage of holiday music flooded the airway. After a while, all the songs sounded the same to me. Bah, humbug. Last-minute shoppers with blank stares aimlessly roamed the aisles, snatching up random items without blinking an eye. Ha! They reminded me of The Walking Dead. Some of them growled at each other as they fought over that last item like two mad dogs fighting to the death over a bone. Ah, the joys of retail. Needless to say, all the shenanigans left me feeling disenchanted with the entire holiday thing. I just wanted to get everybody out of the store so I could finally go home. It had been a long day. I did my nightly walkthrough along the perimeter of the store, ensuring there were no stragglers inside. Suddenly, I saw a shadow out of my peripheral vision. Thinking I had encountered a lost sheep that needed just one more minute to stop, I turned around. There was nobody there. That was strange. Oh well. It was now 10:15 and I headed to the back office to join Mary with the cash bags. Suddenly, I saw the shadow figure of a man wearing a trench coat. He turned toward the stairs. I could see each finger of his left hand as he put it around the railing and headed up the stairs. Then I noticed he didn't have a head. Yikes! It was almost as if somebody had cut a straight line across his shoulders and cut his head off. I shook my head and thought, wow, you're really tired. So I just dismissed it all without giving it a second thought. But then the next night at 10:15, I saw him again. Okay, this is the real deal. But I couldn't tell anyone who would believe me. They would think I was crazy. No, you'll just have to keep this to yourself. A few days later, Mary was sitting in the office as I put away the cash bags. She had her back to the door, but was looking into the mirror on the wall and watching behind her. A man just walked up the stairs, she screamed. I ran out by her and got caught up in the moment. I knew what she had seen. Oh, you saw him too, I exclaimed. She asked. No, of course not. I was in the safe, but I've seen him before. She looked at me puzzled. That was no man, I said. That was a ghost. As soon as the words left my lips, I covered my mouth. Oh no, now you've done it. You've gone and said the G word. There's no taking that back. Yelled for Dave, the security guy, and he raced up the stairs, but found nothing. Where did he go? He asked. Oh, Dave, there isn't any man. It was the ghost. He walks up there every night at 10:15. They both just stared at me. Could have heard a pin drop. Okay, now you said the G word twice. They both did. How are you going to come back to work tomorrow? This is going to be good. But much to my surprise, Mary said, really? I believe in that stuff. Now Dave is looking at two of us. I'm not sure if he felt outnumbered or was a believer, but he agreed. He closed up the store and went home. The next day, I asked Mary if she had any idea who this man might be. The only thing that came to mind was the old sporting goods man. He had recently divorced and was very upset. One night after work, he went out to his car in the parking lot, placed a gun next to his head, and ended his misery. Well, I guess that explains why he doesn't have a head. Was this his spirit, or was it residual evidence? All I know is that I would continue this thing for me. I would do a job. So that was my Christmas spirit story.
So we kind of chatted about this a little bit.
Yeah.
And for those out there watching and listening in, I would love to have you guys, anybody that wants to come on and talk about it with us and everything, you're welcome to join. Um, I did put out the actual live link on Facebook earlier. If you guys have it, you can come and talk with us. But I kind of get the impression of we talked about like maybe a security guard that just performing his duties, his
Yeah,
nightly rounds or whatever.
that's what I think. Yeah.
Um, but now it brings the question up about if he went out to his car and he put a gun to his head and shot himself, you wouldn't think that a pistol, if that's what he used, would do that much damage to make his head not be there.
Right. I just don't understand. That's the only reason I could think he didn't have a head. I don't know. I've never seen anything like that in my life. I don't know.
And I brought up to you before that maybe he used a shotgun or something. Now, if he had put like a shotgun under his chin like this.
Right. See, I don't know what kind of gun. She didn't explain to me.
I could see it taking most of his head off.
Right. I don't know what kind of gun he had. She never said.
That's what I'm saying. You don't know, but that's what makes sense. If he would have put a shotgun like here.
Right. Blow his head right off, yeah.
Yeah, it would have at least took the front of his head off,
Yeah.
If not, maybe he didn't put a gun to his head.
I still don't know where his head went. It was just like you were looking at a picture and somebody just
I'm saying maybe he had some help, like somebody with a machete or a sharp knife or so, just.
Oh, I mean, it was just like you got a picture. You just cut the picture straight off. It was like the top was missing. It's the strangest thing I've ever seen. I don't know.
What's his name? The headless horseman.
Yeah.
What was his name again? The guy from the.
I know what you mean.
The teacher, the one that was being chased by the headless horseman.
Yeah.
Anyway, that kind of brings that to mind. So we have a headless guy who walks through the store, goes up the stairs. Does he come back down, or does he just go up there and you don't see him no more?
No, he goes upstairs and then he just kind of disappears. And there's nowhere you can go. You have to come back down the stairs.
That's what I'm saying. Why would he, if he was making rounds like a security guard, you would think that he would come back down and, do whatever.
I've seen him walk all the way around the store because I've seen him in other parts of the store. He walks the perimeter of the store, goes back to the back stairs, goes up to the manager's office, and then just disappears. Very weird.
Okay, so maybe I'm sure the manager wasn't the same manager that was there when you were there.
No.
So, and maybe not even the same owners of the store. So, what if he makes his lower rounds, he goes upstairs to the manager's office, they get into it and everything, and then he goes out and decides to maybe he went up to the manager's office and got fired or something.
Yeah,
so he goes out to the car and everything,
I've watched him go up, and then you just see him disappear. Once he gets to the top of the steps, he just disappears. Bizarre.
It just, I still can't get where him shooting himself with a pistol.
That's just one story she came up with. I don't even know that if that's him. We can't verify.
Right. Well, I mean, it makes logical sense though if he's making a perimeter. Mm-hmm. Or maybe he wasn't a security guard. Maybe he was somebody who came in to rob the place. So he makes a perimeter in there, make sure there's nobody down there, and then he goes up to manager's office. But then again, that doesn't answer why they would say, well, yeah, he went out to his car.
Well, I just said, do you know who this could be? And she says, well, this happened one time. So we don't say, we're not saying that was him, but it could be.
I'm just trying to find plausible answers to,
Yeah.
Now, if he were a robber, though, and he went up there and he held the guy up or whatever, why would he go out to his car then and do the...
Yeah. See, but this is 10:15, so the store would have been closed at 10, so he wouldn't have been in there if he was a robber, so it had to be an employee.
Is there any place a person could hide?
That's what we check for before we close the store. We check all the places where somebody could hide. That's what he was doing. You could see he was going around checking the store, checking the corners. That's exactly what he was doing. Like I would do. I would go around checking. He did the same thing.
Well, maybe he wasn't a security guard. Maybe he was just a former employee.
Yeah. I don't know what he was, but.
And he was getting ready to close the store, so he made a round.
Yeah.
To check for people, then went upstairs to close out whatever paperwork or something had to be done before.
You don't do anything like that upstairs. We do all that downstairs.
Well, then what do they do upstairs?
There's only the manager's office up there.
What does he do up there if he doesn't have any paperwork or he doesn't have anything to do up there?
It's just the manager.
Sit up there and play mumbly pegs and twiddle his thumbs and just.
He doesn't sit in his office. He's out on the sales floor anyway. He doesn't sit in his office. But
so in other words, he don't need an office. Y'all can put a shower up there, and that way you could go shower and change clothes and go out to the club after work. See?
Yeah. No, we did all the work downstairs. That's why I says we were in the cash office.
Just an idea, you could do that, but
yeah.
Hey, that'd be pretty neat. So you put a shower in up there. That way, after work, when you close the store, you can go up. Take you a clean, set of clubbing clothes, and you go upstairs and you clean up and everything, and then you go out to the club. See, hey, it works for me.
I know. It's an idea.
Anyway, we're just looking for answers here to who this person could be, why he has no head, and what's he going upstairs for.
But was he?
That's why I'm saying
walking, or was he residual?
It sounds kind of like a residual thing.
But yeah, that's the time I would walk around the store and do that same thing. So maybe he was.
Yeah, and you said
I don't know.
that you and different people seen him at the same time every night.
Yeah, but that's the same time that I would walk around and check things too. So. That was probably the same pattern that other people used. Right, because we all do the same thing at the same time.
So maybe he was just a former employee, like I said, that was checking the place to make sure everybody was out. But maybe during his time, he had to go upstairs for something to turn in something, whatever. At that time. Now, you said, the manager doesn't use the office, he stays down there or whatever now, but then maybe whoever the person was, would go up to his office or whatever, and then the person that closed the store would make the rounds and then go up and report all clear, or whatever. And
there's only one person that closes the store. There's one manager and then the cashier that's putting the bags away. So there wouldn't be extra people,
No, that's what I'm saying. Maybe during his time, maybe the manager was up in his office and the guy made the rounds and then went up to report to the manager that everybody was gone and whatever, and I'll see you tomorrow or whatever you do, And for whatever reason, went out to his car and did the deed or whatever.
I don't know.
But I still can't see the pistol taking his head off.
I don't know what kind of gun it was. I have no idea.
Even a .357, yeah, it'd leave a big ugly hole, but it's not going to take your head off.
We could have had a shotgun. We don't know. She didn't say.
what would be really interesting would be to if you could find out, like, go back through the store history or something and find out who the person was. Maybe be able to pull up some actual pictures of what he looked like after the shooting, or
Mm.
if they had pictures of, like, before they removed him from his vehicle or what have you. That would be interesting. That way you could at least, see what kind of actual damage was done.
Mm.
And if, like I said, if he used a shotgun, he put it like up under his chin right here. It would have took probably his whole face off and everything.
Mm.
Uh, Otherwise than that, I don't see that much damage. So, um,
But see, we don't know. We don't know how our energy looks after we're gone. Maybe how your aura and everything. Maybe since his head was so damaged, you couldn't see his aura where his head was. I don't know. That's
now
another.
that thought did enter my mind too earlier,
No,
and I
that's
forgot
another
about
thought.
it. I was thinking maybe since his head was damaged, he couldn't make his head appear.
Right, because they're all black and white. We got colors here. They're all black and white. Well, maybe that was just so white or so black or something that you couldn't see it. I don't know.
I don't know, but man, that's just
It's never seen anything like that before. It was just very strange.
well. And think about it. Maybe uh, is there a possibility that he knew that people were watching him,
I don't know.
and he didn't want them to see what his face and stuff actually looked like, or what?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, that's another interesting way to look at it. Maybe he didn't was self-conscious about it, his head.
Or yeah, he goes, "Look what I did. I don't want anybody to see me now. Look what I did."
Otherwise, why straight across here? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, perfect straight line, just like they cut the picture off. It
That's
wasn't like
weird.
it was all fuzzy or something. Just perfect straight line.
Right. That,
Like
it's
you folded a photograph right in half. It was just.
Is there anything else that could possibly have been, maybe not an actual spirit, human spirit, but if so, why would it make a round through there and then go up the stairs and disappear?
It was very solid. You could see he was wearing a trench coat. I could see the buttons on the trench coat. I saw all the fingers on the railing. You could see it was a human. I could see the buttons on his coat.
A trench coat. Why would he wear a trench coat? I mean, is that what typical people wore during that time?
That was the style years ago.
Okay.
That's a business man would wear.
Okay, if he worked inside the store, you would think that it would be kind of uncomfortable working inside the store with a trench coat on.
Yeah, but we're ready to go home now, so we're going to probably have our coats on.
Yeah, but you wouldn't have thought that he would have put that coat and stuff on until he made his rounds and got ready to actually leave.
Yeah.
Then he would put on his coat and his hat, what have you,
Mm.
So I don't know. It's just still a little bit kind of. Now I could see a person in the store with a trench coat on if he had a shotgun or something underneath it concealed. And maybe that's what he went upstairs for, with an intent to rob the place. But then again, why would he go up there and disappear?
Well, there's no money upstairs, so I don't know why he'd go up
No.
there. There's no money upstairs.
But during that time, there might have been. You see what I'm
No,
saying?
there was a big, humongous safe downstairs. I don't think they moved the safe.
The guy might have had a safe in his office. Who knows? We're talking about a different time period.
Maybe 10 years. It wasn't that long ago.
Well,
The name of the store changed. I don't think the physical appearance of it changed. Just the name of the store changed.
yeah, but I'm saying the original owner may have had a safe in his office. Who knows what, and it was removed after, when they moved, they took it. So there's lots of different ways to look at that. Um, but if he had went to rob the place, could something have happened maybe that fouled up his robbery, and he wound up getting shot in the head?
Maybe, yeah.
I don't know. I don't understand wearing a trench coat when you're already inside the store and the store's going to be warm. Why would you be wearing a trench coat, making rounds and going upstairs? I wouldn't have put my coat on and stuff until I got ready to go out the door. So, that's why I kind of wonder why Artie be dressed like that.
I don't know.
And why be dressed like that in a store where it's warm with no head? Just saying. We need to find this guy's head, man. This is because
I've just never, ever, ever seen anything like that again. Everything always has a whole body. I've never seen.
Yeah, why one with no head?
Yeah.
Unless, like I said, if he messed up his head so bad he felt even in the afterlife self-conscious about showing his head. And I suppose that's possible. Yeah. I mean, spirits have a sense of humor even after, they pass from the living. They still have a sense of humor. So why could they not also feel self-conscious?
Mm-hmm.
If my head was all messed up in life, I would figure it would look all messed up in death. I wouldn't want anybody looking at that, So why not just show a straight line across,
Mm-hmm.
This is what you get with no head, And I don't mean any disrespect toward this spirit. I'm not making fun of him. I'm just trying to lighten up the situation.
He was just a little light. He was just a little lightheaded. That's all.
Yeah. It just it leaves you with that question of is that the reason did he feel self-conscious? Did he not want to anybody to see his head? But then again, if he was doing a residual thing,
he wouldn't know he was doing it.
He's not going to notice what you're doing anyway.
He didn't. He'd walk right past you, and you didn't.
That's what I'm saying. He would make that round.
Yeah.
And then he would go up the stairs.
Right.
And that would be the end of it. He's not going to care if you see him or not because he ain't even going to know you're there.
Right.
So that's very plausible. If he did know you were there, why would he still do the same thing? The making the round and going up the stairs.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. Maybe it was residual because it was 10:15. He'd go up the stairs. 10:15. He'd go up the stairs. So.
Yeah. Make the round of the store down here. You go up the stairs. 10:15. Somebody trying to get your attention.
Oh, I'm gonna kill her.
Trust me, I know mine. Whenever their water bowl's empty, if I don't catch it,
she's looking out
they'll either bring it in there in their mouth or they'll take their paws and smack it around the room until you hear it and you go put water in it.
No, she's looking out the window. I have no idea what's out there. Probably nothing. Probably some guy's getting in his car.
Or a headless guy at your door.
Yeah. No, she'd be running and hiding if that was it.
But okay, so we pretty much can establish that we both think it's got to be a residual type deal.
Yeah.
Um, now all we got to do is explain the.
That I could never explain that.
I mean, the straight line.
I know perfectly.
And even, if he blew his head off with a shotgun, it's going to tear his face all up. This is all going to be jagged. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I mean. I'm looking at it, and you think maybe I just can't see it very well, and it's a little fuzzy around the neck, but it was not fuzzy. It was a straight line. That was the most bizarre thing.
A perfect straight.
Yeah, perfectly. Yeah, it was not jagged, not fuzzy. No.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's very unusual to see. And I've heard other stories of people talking about headless ghosts and stuff. But it's not just like, you go right across there with a straight line. It's usually got a neck or something, and it just a head's gone and whatever. But
Or I saw something one time where the eyes were supposed to be, there were just like holes.
Yeah.
But they weren't perfectly round. They weren't perfectly round either. They were kind of fuzzy around the edges.
Yeah, you could picture something like that.
They were fuzzy around the edges where those circles were. This was just so straight.
I mean, it almost seems like it's an intelligent haunting enough to say, look, I don't want my head to show up, so I'm going to show a straight, shoulder to shoulder, So then that brings another question up. Is it possible to have a partial residual, partial actual conscious haunting?
Right.
I've never heard of one. I mean, is that possible? Is it, could a residual spirit, knowing that its head was messed up, and this is what I'm saying, a residual, as you know, will ignore all the living people around it and do the same thing it done over and over and over and over, right? Like a stuck record player.
It's just a recording, though. It's not
okay.
Real,
so
not like a real spirit's actually walking around,
If this residual haunting, if when it happened, it was so traumatic that, and like I said, that its face and everything was all messed up. In that split second of consciousness, could it say, well, I'm just not going to show my head. I'm going to show us,
I don't know.
And then so the residual from then on would just show that with nothing but a straight shoulder to shoulder.
I don't know.
Thing. I don't know. I've never thought about that. Is it possible to have a residual and a active spirit mixed?
Mm-hmm.
Because the residual is actually like a tape recording.
Right.
Just replaying. And you wouldn't think that there could be any conscious thought there anywhere to say, well, I'm not going to show my head because it's messed up.
Because sometimes when he went upstairs, you could see his hand on the railing. Other times he just went up the stairs. I didn't see his hand grab the railing. So
it wasn't the same exact thing.
Right. So was he really walking around? If it was residual, that hand would have grabbed the railing every time. Right?
Every time, yeah, it would have been the same exact thing.
Sometimes it did. Sometimes it just went up the stairs. I don't know. That's the weird part. Which makes you think he was really walking around.
Okay, now that makes you think that maybe it's not a residual.
Right. Even though it was the same time, but that's what time you closed the store, so it would be the same time,
So, he would show himself up at the same time because that's what he does.
That's your job at that time, yeah.
Maybe he just chose to ignore the living. Not
or he couldn't see us. I don't know if he could see us or not. We don't know that, if they can see us.
Well, I mean, if he was just doing what he wanted to do, he would brush right past you, and unless you did something to interfere with what he was doing, he's not going to mess with you more than likely.
Right. We never got close enough. You'd see him and go, oh, he's over there, but we never got close enough to him to.
Now I wonder what would have happened if
If you walked up to him, yeah, I never did.
I wonder what would have happened if you um, stood and waited because you knew this was going to happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
And right at the time when he would have started up that stairway, if you'd have stood on that bottom step right there.
And see if he walked through you. Ooh.
Yeah.
Ew, I wouldn't want to try that. Okay.
Just a thought, you know.
I know.
I mean, that would have been a way to prove whether it was a residual or not, because if it was a residual, it would have just went right on through you like you weren't even there. Went on done.
Oh, something just walked through me. Oh.
Well, see, you don't really know if a residual has any matter to it.
Right.
You know, maybe it's just like a shadow that you see performing whatever task it did.
Mm-hmm.
If it went through you, it would probably be just like a shadow passing by you.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if it was and I say this in a literally a physical spirit, you know when a physical spirit passes through you, what you feel like, you know.
It kind of knocks you back. You feel it.
Yeah, you would know if it was a actual physical spirit or if it was just like a residual shadow thing. You know what I'm saying? Now, me, I would probably been just the idiot to stand on that bottom step and say, I gotta know. You know, I gotta know. I may regret it later, but for right now, I gotta know.
But see, that was many years ago. Now I would do that. At that time, I'm just going, what's going on here? If now I'd walk right.
And see, that's the thing, and that's probably what's going to get me one of these days is that not having no fear of that, because you want to know things, okay? And the only way you're really going to know is if you put yourself out there. Is it smart? Probably not.
No.
But you can run a tape recorder all night long. You can run a spirit box all night long, and you can get your stuff that you get. But if you don't actually put yourself out there, look at all the things that you're missing. The actual feeling, the actual, you know, and maybe possibly at that time when this spirit passes through you, it leaves a little bit of its knowledge with you. Mm-hmm. You know, where it's been, what its plans are,
who it is,
yeah, you know, stuff like that there's no other way you're gonna know. So yeah, it's probably risky, and you know, it can be a bad thing, but at the same time, there's a wealth of knowledge that can be gained. So I would probably take that risk.
And maybe trying to talk to somebody and then going, oh, you are here. Okay, let me talk to you.
And I'm just saying this because, well, right now I've never had the experience, and if I did, I might not do it again. But if a spirit wanted to talk through me, I would let them. Like I said, maybe after one time I might say, nah, I ain't gonna do that again. But
I never channeled anybody, no.
You know, I mean, I would probably do that at least once. I would let them channel through me, let them talk through me. If they had a message to get out and there was no other way, yeah,
I just worry that they won't leave your body.
Well,
and see, not gonna leave.
That's the risk you gotta take.
I wouldn't mess with that.
That's why I'm saying that's probably going to be the thing that gets me one of these days, because I have that. It's like when you're a kid and your imagination is just wide open, right? Mm-hmm. And you know you want to experience everything, and you know, you're open to things. Well, I'm not a kid anymore, but I'm still open to things, unless it's orbs. I'm not
I've,
open to orbs.
I've seen people go places though, and they let the spirit get into their body, and they're like freaky and they're screaming, and I go, you're crazy. What if it doesn't come back out? No, no.
Well, see, and if I was gonna do that though, I would want to have somebody there that knew how to get that spirit out of you. You know what I'm saying?
You can't get a spirit out of somebody. That's the thing. If it's in there, it has to want to come out.
Yeah, you can. Jesus did it. Okay. Just saying.
Yeah.
Uh, if you have the right person there that could, in case the spirit did not want to leave, they could make them come out.
Who's to say the spirit wouldn't jump out of them and into you then? Because he's all getting all
Okay.
creepy now. That's too much to mess with.
If I got and I'm just using this name out of thin air. If I've got Reverend Joe Black over here,
Well,
and I let the spirit channel through me, and it doesn't want to leave, and Reverend Joe Black brings the spirit out of me, and it jumps into him. That's between him and Reverend Black. Then,
I know, but we don't want him inside anybody.
yeah, well, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
You know, if he knows how to get him out of me, he should know how to get him out of him. I'm just saying. That's what he does. Okay,
Mhm.
like whatchamacallit?
That'd be like an exorcist.
Exorcist. Yeah.
That's a whole different.
Okay. If he knows how to get him out of me, then he's got to know how to get him out of himself. Now, where he goes after he leaves Reverend Joe Black over there, I don't know, but it would be interesting, and you got to admit. Now, that brings another question to mind. If you have a spirit come into you and channel through you and speak through you, after that spirit leaves or is removed from you, or however you have to do that, would you still retain that knowledge of what that spirit said? Or what it thought? Because I'm sure if a spirit melds with you to channel through you, to talk through you, I would assume also that his thoughts or her thoughts or whatever would be in your thoughts.
When I've seen people channel, they don't remember what they said.
Okay, see, that'd be the sucky thing.
Yeah.
I'd be like, all right, when this happens, you people better write this shit down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I
Then they're like all worn out when it's all over, and they go, "Oh, what happened?" I mean, they don't know what happened. So it's like it's just consumed you.
All right, you're the typist over there. Give me the script. I want to know what it said.
Yeah, that's what I don't know. I've seen people do that, and it's just too scary. I don't know.
Okay, well, you have mediums that do that channel spirits and all that.
Right. I'm a medium, but I won't channel.
Well, I'm just saying, though, you have your mediums that do that.
I do. I know. I have friends that do that, but
and how do they get them out of their body when they're done?
I don't know. Somehow they channel and then it goes out, but I wouldn't never take that chance. If somebody wants to tell me something, I can hear in my head what they want to say, and I'll tell you. I don't need them to come in my body to talk.
Right, but if they're speaking through you in their voice, how much more proof of them can you have?
Yeah, but I can tell you, your grandmother. I can tell you. She can tell me all kinds of things, and you will know it's her, even though you're not hearing her voice, because she's going to tell me things that only you would know.
Yeah, I understand that, but I'm just saying, if Grandma is speaking through you,
yeah,
in Grandma's voice, it's really hard to doubt something like that. You see what I'm saying? You have her actual voice telling you this through another person.
Well, I had somebody talk to me one time, and she said she was channeling Truman Capote. So do I believe that that was Truman Capote? I
Truman Capote.
swear. I swear to you, yes.
Okay. And I think you
See what
had
I
said
mean?
something about that before. Yeah.
She was channeling Truman Capote. And I just sat there
Okay.
and go, okay. Everybody else in the room is going, oh, wow, this is so great. And I said, really?
Well, um,
I didn't know what to say.
maybe she
Truman Capote had a message for me, you know.
maybe she listened to some old Truman Capote stuff long enough to get his voice down pat.
But he had a message for me, sure.
He had a message for you,
Yeah,
Truman Capote.
yes.
What was that message? Tell everybody what that message was.
I was writing my book and I was just getting ready to publish it, and he was saying that how much he liked my book and he liked the idea, and some people were going to kind of balk at it, but don't give up because it's a really good book.
Okay.
And
Truman Capote.
she didn't know anything about my book, you know. So I don't know. Channeling, I don't know.
Well, I didn't know Truman Capote read horror books or paranormal books.
That's what I mean. I go, what?
I don't think he was into that. Wasn't Truman Capote? Wasn't he into clothes?
He wrote in Cold Blood.
Oh, okay.
That's not a horror movie. It was a real murder.
Yeah, like a murder mystery type thing.
But it was a real story. Yeah, I mean it was real. It's a story that took place in Kansas. It really happened.
Okay, but I'm saying though it was not a horror or paranormal based book.
No, nothing like that. No. So why he would have a message for me? I don't know.
Okay, so I'm gonna tell you that I really like your book idea. It's great. I don't know anything about it, but it's a great book, and don't give up on it, because
it was very general.
Yeah. Everybody's going to want to read this book.
Yeah.
And I don't know anything about the paranormal, but I'm going to tell you that because I'm Truman Capote.
Right.
Just saying.
Yeah, that's about how it was, and I says, okay.
And everybody's going, ah.
They were, and I'm going, okay. She's channeling Truman Capote. Okay.
Okay, why couldn't she? Now, quote me if I'm wrong.
Else.
Quote me if I'm wrong here, but you said that your grandma helped you with this book, right?
Yes, she did.
And your grandma is deceased, right?
Yep.
Okay. So why wouldn't she have just channeled your grandma?
That's what I mean.
Truman Capote.
Him out.
Really?
Yeah, she could have been my grandma, but see, she didn't know my grandma though, so she couldn't say that, right?
Well, did she know Truman Capote?
Well, she knows who he is, but.
Yeah, but I'm saying, did she know him personally to channel him? Well, hey, me and Truman go way back. I'm gonna channel Truman for you. He got a message for you. Just saying. But okay. So if she didn't know him, but she knew who he was.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, had you mentioned anything around any of these people that your grandma had helped you in any way with that? Because if so, she could have picked up on that. And she could have just as well said, well, yeah, your grandma's got a message for you. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I never said anything about it, and she didn't mention grandma. No.
Okay. I'm just checking because, and this is how, and this as well as I do, this is how the fake mediums.
Right. They pick up on something. Yeah, exactly.
They pick up and they research and they pick up, things that you say, and they'll turn around and put them to you as questions.
Which is what some of the people in the room did tell her some things, and when she went over to speak to them, she was repeating back what they were saying. Exactly. I was watching that.
and that's how they pull the wool over people.
Yeah.
And
I don't know where she got the Truman Capote with me. That was just weird.
now there are a lot of good real psychic people
Right.
out there,
Right.
but there's a lot of fake bullcrap people out there that just want to take your money.
But
And
then I looked across the room. Yeah.
that's
Then
how
I
they
looked
operate.
across the room
You
that
know.
night.
They'll sit there and they'll ask you a question, and it's not um, um, what am I looking for here?
They fish.
They'll ask you a question that has
They fish for information.
they'll ask you a question that could be answered in 5 or 6 different ways. You see what I'm saying?
But they fish for an answer, and you're
Exactly. What they're doing is they're asking you a question that no matter what you say, it's going to answer that question.
Mm-hmm.
Like they may say, and like I said, they're going to do some research. Okay. They'll ask you if you had a loved one pass away in the last 10 years. Well, just about everybody can say, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, they're here. They're here. Yeah.
You know, and then they'll say something like, well, I'm getting something with an M or an S or something. And you'll be like, no. And they'll ask you, well, does the name start with a such and such? And most people won't even think about it. They'll say, no, it's this. So they give her the answer, or him
that's her.
the answer.
Yeah, that's her.
You know, and too many people get took in by that.
Right.
You know, so this woman is channeling Truman Capote.
That
and,
was...
yeah, you know, I think I would have been more... I'd have been more like, you know what, one of your loved ones has a message for you.
Right.
You know, and hoping that you would say, well, yeah, that's probably my grandma or my Aunt Sue or whatever.
You know, bizarre about it. I said, what? That's like the weirdest thing anybody ever told me. I said, okay. Well, then I'm sitting there across the room, and this one woman brought her husband along. He's kind of sitting there with all us women, and all of a sudden I got a message for him. And so I waited till everybody's done talking, and I looked around the room and I said, oh, do you believe in all the stuff we're talking about? And he said, well, I kind of do. He said, I think I see some shadow guy walking around my hallway, but I just look the other way. I don't want to see him. I don't want to see him. And I said, oh, well, you do see a shadow guy. And he's looking at me, and I said, yeah, he's got a message for you. He keeps trying to talk to you, but you're not listening to him. Okay, now everybody's looking at me. And I'm talking across the room, and he goes, oh, and I said, yeah. I go, he wants to tell you something. He says, what's he want to tell me? And then I said the most bizarre thing. I said, he wants to apologize for killing you over the poker game.
Oh, wow.
And I'm thinking, okay, I'm having a past life experience for this man. So now I see this guy I'm talking to is a cowboy.
Right.
And they're out in the West, and they're gambling. I see him playing cards at the table, and this guy across the aisle from me was cheating, and this guy got mad and he shot him. Yeah, everybody now you can hear a pin drop in the room because they're going, what did she just say? Mine was better than Truman Capote, okay?
Well, maybe Truman Capote shot him.
I mean, he's just looking at me. He goes, well, what should I do? And I says, he just wants you to say that you accept his apology. He goes, yeah, I do. I says, don't tell me. I said, tell him. So he goes, I accept your apology. So then the cowboy goes, okay. And then the cowboy says, okay, I want to go now, but I don't know how to go. So then I had to help him cross over. So then that night when I'm leaving, I'm walking down the street. There was no street lights there. I'm going out to my truck, and I hear somebody running up behind me, and it kind of felt like it was a man coming up behind me. And I turn around, there was nothing there. And then all of a sudden, I heard the cowboy, and he's going, oh, thank you. And I says, oh, you cannot follow me home now. Yeah.
Okay, I'm getting a reverb. And I know my chat room is not supposed to be open.
Oh, I don't hear anything.
And it's not.
I don't hear anything.
Well, I was hearing it.
Were you? No.
Okay.
Cowboy.
Anyway, well, yeah, maybe it was. It stopped, so maybe it was.
Saying thank you again.
Well, yeah, but why would he be copying everything I said?
I don't know.
But I mean, that's all really interesting because
See, that's how you get messages. They just come to you just like that. That's how it works.
when you and I have talked before, and I'm not going to go into detail about stuff that we talk about, but you can bring up something and I will see a picture.
Yeah.
And that's how it works. Like, just for instance, the windmill. You mentioned something about a farm, and I see a picture of a windmill.
I know. We're still working on that.
And that's how it works, though. I mean, you can say something, and I will see a picture of it, or a picture of something that's there, not necessarily what you said. And sometimes I see pictures of things that you didn't even say were there. As you know,
we're both seeing parts of the same story.
Yeah. But I mean, that's how it works with me, and I can't control all that. It just works like it works.
Right.
And
I saw the farm, and you saw the church on the corner.
And I don't question it. It just does what it does.
Mm.
What was it? The truck in the field that I saw. I don't know where that came from, but it was just there.
I never found the truck, but that could have been I saw the truck too, but it could have been a long time ago. Because when I drove down the road, I saw the church, I saw the farm, but I didn't see a truck in the farm.
Well, the truck was broke down.
Yeah.
Okay. It obviously been sitting there for a while.
Yeah. It could have been a long time ago. I saw the silo. I saw everything we saw except the truck. I didn't see the truck.
Maybe they junked it or something, because it had obviously been sitting there for a while.
Well, we could have saw it back 20 years ago too.
Well, true. That's true.
It could be gone.
But I mean, everything that we basically talked about, I could actually see the fenced area at the back of this barn-like thing, which was the hog lot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And things, from that going off to I want to say it's to the north of that. The trees and the water and the high grass and all that.
Yep. Exactly where it was.
And it'll just come in like picture flashes.
Mm-hmm.
They don't last long, but I see them clear.
Yeah.
And that's where that is where, and it's just getting somebody to look in the right spot.
That's when I drove down that road. It was exactly the right spot. I knew when I drove by, I stopped the truck and said, "There it is." It was the spot that we looked at.
Yeah, I mean, it was as plain as the nose on my face. I saw it just like it was.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's kind of a fleeting thing. You see it for like a few seconds and it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
And
but you never forget it. That picture's in your mind forever.
But it's like being there when you see it. It looks everything is so real. It's like being there when you see it.
Yeah, because as soon as I pulled up, I says, "I've been here before." I know haven't been here.
Yeah.
I felt like I says, "I've been here before." It's because that's what we saw.
And it's oh God.
It wasn't deja vu. It wasn't deja vu, but we just.
I remember a combine. Up close to it.
Yeah.
But not close enough. If they could have got off that combine and just walked about maybe 20 feet right through those little trees at the edge of that field, they would have come right there. I mean, they were that close. and that's what's going through my head. Get out of the damn combine. Walk right through there. You're right there, you know?
I know. And I couldn't go to the spot because there's a fence now. It's private property. I could go in there. I wanted to go right to the spot.
Well, and see, that's
So
one of the
close,
reasons.
so close, but I couldn't go in.
That is one of the reasons why this person picked that spot, because it was where people can't
Well, we
just
don't
walk
know.
there.
That was 20 years ago. Maybe it wasn't private then.
It may have been, may not have been.
Yeah, that was 20 years ago.
I just know that it's a place where I think they had been before.
Oh, yeah, many times. Yeah, it was one of their favorite places.
Yeah, and like a hangout spot, you know. And it was so secluded that you know, in his warped mind, he's like, well, you know, and I still don't know that he meant to do what he did.
No, it was an accident.
But he didn't want to get in trouble for, you know, the accident.
Maybe she wasn't dead. You know, if you went for some help, maybe she would have been okay.
Yeah, but he wanted to cover it up because he didn't want anybody to know what happened.
Yeah.
Now, then again, you know, the whole thing it's kind of like, you know, like I said, it's like bits and pieces of a puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
And every time you get a piece of the puzzle and you put it together, you know, and you're like, well, yeah, makes sense now, you know. All the things that we were talking about that we both seen, putting those pieces together, and you come to the spot where you know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, this is the spot right here. If they just go right here, they're gonna find her.
And I've got the EVP when I was out on the road. I had my recorder going. I had the spirit box going. And I can't remember the guy's name now. I'd have to look it up. Some man was talking as clear as like you were sitting right next to me talking. And he was trying to tell her to speak up, come forward, to talk to me. And I'm looking and go, there's no man around here that could have got on my recorder.
Okay, well.
You know, like she was kind of shy. It's like he was on the other side trying to bring her forward to help her say, this is where I am. And when I mentioned his name to someone that knows her, they said, oh, that was the priest at our church. He was a good friend of hers. He was really worried about her when she disappeared, but he died now. I really do think that they're together somewhere.
Possibility.
It was really, yeah.
You know, and if that's the case, you know, maybe she's not that worried anymore about whether or not they find her.
Then what? Does she keep talking to me, telling me, find me? She still talks to me.
Well, I don't know. But she has a tendency to disappear and fade away for a while.
Yeah, well, she's been back the last 2 weeks. She's come back again. Yeah, I know she's been away for a while, but the last 2 weeks she's been back again.
Well, now that could be this person pushing her, too.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know. 6 of one, half a dozen of another.
So it's not like I'm going back to that place anytime soon right now. I don't go there till the summer, so.
Well, how close were you to the actual spot? Where you guys had your tent and stuff? How close were you?
No, we were parked on the road. We couldn't go across the fence.
Yeah, but I'm saying in a measure of distance, about how far away do you think you were?
Oh, I don't know, 30, 40 feet. I don't know. I just wanted to stand under that tree that I knew it was and see if I could put the recorder.
Right.
But I couldn't get in there. But yet I was getting something out there on the road. Because
Now,
I said, who brought you to this spot? And she said a name. It wasn't the boyfriend's name, but she said a name. And then when I mentioned this name to someone, they said that was the priest's name. So this was probably the guy that brought her there when I said, who brought you there? That's kind of weird. She never mentioned the boyfriend's name.
so
She might have thought I meant who brought you here today. I don't know. It wasn't specific. I just said who brought you here.
okay, well, yeah, that's a $6 million question.
Yeah. Well, then I was
Anyways,
talking to somebody. This is weird. I was talking to somebody a couple months ago on Skype, and we were talking about the story, and I was recording it. And I played it back after we were done, and I heard somebody calling out her name.
and we don't know
We
who
did
that
not hear.
is.
We did not hear it when we were talking, but it was on my recording. That
I'm saying you don't have a clue who that was.
it was like a creepy sounding.
Hey.
I'll have to let you hear that. I'm just going, oh my gosh. We didn't hear it. Nothing with our ears, but when we were talking about, talking about where the spot was and stuff, and we heard somebody, say it, like her name was Mary, they'd go, Mary. It was, sounded, it sounded like that, and going, what the heck was that? Yeah.
Right.
I gotta let you hear it. It's just.
Anyways, our time is up, and I really enjoyed this. It was a great conversation, and the story was good too. I still want to know about this, but
I don't know.
for everybody that listened in tonight and watched the video, we appreciate it. Wednesday, I will be back. Sir William Wallace and myself. I say that because he reminds me of Braveheart. You know what I mean? William Wallace.
Yeah.
Gonna kill him with farts from his arse. William's a great guy, though. Anyway, we'll be back Wednesday night at 6 p.m. with another edition of Ghostly Stories. Until then, fare thee well. Adieu, parting is such sweet sorrow. Cheryl, thanks so much for your story, and of course for helping out with the show and stuff. You're awesome.
Thank you.
Next week, folks, or next Wednesday, next Wednesday, yeah, it'll be next week. The 24th? Yeah, 24th. Okay. Monday night, 7 p.m., Christina Corsetti and myself will be on here, and we're going to be talking about urban legends and the truth behind those. So tune in for that, because that's going to be awesome. Until then, I will say my good nights.
Good night.